if I had to start from zero on my path to financial independence, these are the exact 5 steps that I would do starting today. They are easy, doable, and anyone can do them regardless if you have high income or low income. My husband and I have followed every one of these steps, and it's allowed us to get very, very close to reaching financial independence in just under 10 years, even while we were having children. Disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing the things that have worked for us. Step number 1, dream about what living financially independent would look like. Be really specific. Imagine that you wake up tomorrow and work is optional. You can do whatever you want. You can sleep in, you can go exercise, you can work if you want. You can start a new hobby, you can start a new business, you can go to the library, you can just sit and stare out the window for the first time in years. You can go see friends, you can travel. What is it that you're going to do? Make it specific to you. Rid yourself of like the shoulds of what you think you should be doing with your time. From this day forward, work is optional. What are you going to do? What is life going to look like? What are you going to feel like in your day-to-day life? Dream. So basically, you're trying to find your why, okay? Why are you wanting to reach financial independence? What is that going to be like for you? Why is that so important to you? Once you figure out your why, the how is going to become a lot easier, because reaching financial independence, it's not a sprint, right? It's a marathon. It's a lot of small habits that you have to do. And some of them are easy, some of them are harder, right? If you have to make some sacrifices to save or work, maybe take an extra job to make some more income, whatever it is that your path to financial independence is. Saving money in the moment is going to feel really dreary, but if you know that you're trading it in for a life where you're financially independent, free of money worries, and where work is optional, all of a sudden that becomes a lot easier to do. Step number 2, start investing in stocks. Don't click out of the video. If you know nothing about investing, I used to not know anything about investing. And honestly, it used to seem really daunting. I didn't really want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I was just kind of a little daunted. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to go. I had no idea about how the process works. So if you're in that position where you're like, I want to invest, but I have no idea where to start, baby step number 1, go on YouTube. There's so many people who just know a lot about investing in stocks. And there's tutorials on easy steps on how to set up an account with for example, Vanguard or Fidelity. Watch a tutorial that takes you through the basic steps just to get started, to also lose your fear of it. So maybe baby step number 1 is just to start informing you about investing. And then even if it's like $50, $100, $10, start investing. The compound interest, right, is going to make your money grow without you having to do anything. And time is going to be your best friend, right? With compound interest, it's not only delayed gratification, it's multiplied gratification, because your money will grow so much more. So start now. Don't wait to invest. Start now, because the longer your money sits in the stocks or wherever you want to invest it, the more it grows. Number 3, reduce your spending. And I know this is kind of like the not so fun part, but hear me out. You don't have to deprive yourself of the things that you enjoy. In fact, I actually don't think you should, because that's not sustainable. If you start living on rice and beans and not do anything fun anymore for the next years, that's really not very sustainable. You might do it for a little bit, but you're just gonna give up on it because it's not sustainable, unless you really love beans and rice, in which case, go right ahead. But I would suggest being a valuist, meaning that really be intentional. Sit down and think about, what are the things that are really value and what are things that you can just cut? Like maybe you really value that daily cappuccino that you get on your way to work. But maybe you're like, hey, I can make cappuccino at home, bring it in my travel mug and have it on the way there. Or maybe there's a coffee machine at work. I don't know. But think about, is that really important? Or would you rather trade in reaching that financial independence a little bit sooner, maybe a year sooner, just because you stopped taking that coffee every day? But then figuring out what is still really important to you and leave those things in. But just kind of look at, where's my money going each month and what are things that are really important to me. And if you're stuck on that, on this channel, I'll share a video on things that I save money on. But there's also tons of other great YouTubers to talk about things that they don't spend money on that honestly have really inspired me. And it's something that you can also really get used to. For example, if you're used to having sugar in your coffee, it's going to be really hard to not have sugar in your coffee. But if you just leave out the sugar for 2 or 3 weeks, all of a sudden you're not going to want the sugar in the coffee because you have weaned off of it. So I think the same is true with spending, right? If we wean ourselves off of certain spendings, certain habits, we won't miss them after a while. Number 4, learn from the FI community. YouTube, podcasts, there's so many great resources, blogs that are really inspirational, that share strategies, because honestly, there's different strategies to achieve financial independence, right? So learn from others. Choose at least 2 financial independence blogs or YouTube channels and start watching them. Start learning from them, get inspired, get excited. Honestly, hearing other people talk about their journey and also people who are already living that life that you really want is so inspiring. And you see how attainable it is and how and that it's actually not too good to be true. That there's actually ways to reach that where work is optional, you're free of money worries, and you have time freedom. You guys, time is the only resource that you can't multiply, right? It's just, we all have finite time. But if you regain freedom of your time, that's awesome. Some that my husband and I have really liked over the years is Mr. Money Mustache, Matt Fientis is pretty cool, Our Rich Journey, or this one here. Subscribe if you haven't already. There's many, many more, and many I haven't mentioned, many great ones. Dave Ramsey is great for getting out of debt. Love Dave Ramsey. He's so entertaining. Honestly, if you think finance is boring, I used to think so until I stumbled upon Dave Ramsey. He's so funny. He's so entertaining. He's great. Speaking of Dave Ramsey, number 5, look at your debt and pick one to aggressively pay off. Dave Ramsey's process for this, he talks about all about like getting free of debt. You do minimal payments on all of them, but you pick the one that's the smallest and you really aggressively pay the one off so that you no longer have to pay interest on that one. And then you roll over all that money. Once that small one is paid off, you roll over all that money into the next bigger one and pay that one off. So you get the snowball effect of paying off your debt, having less interest that you have to pay to finally get out of debt. Because the thing is, having debt is really going to slow you down in being able to save money and reaching financial independence. And I mean, there's some debts that may be hard to pay off. Like if you have a mortgage, we have a 30-year mortgage on our house. And other than that, we've been able to clear all our other debt. But the mortgage we're kind of just keeping. But we've paid off our student loan debt. We have no car payments because we paid cash for our cars. That's one of the things when I was talking about being a valuist, like we need transportation, but we don't value, that's just us personally, nothing against wanting fancy cars, but we personally just don't value having a certain brand of car or having like very fancy cars. I mean, I would like a fancy car, right? But I want financial independence more than a fancy car. And so we've chosen to buy pretty old, sturdy, but pretty old, non-fancy cars with cash so that we have no monthly car payment. And it was actually just the other day, honestly, I was talking to my husband and I was like, 70% savings rate. I mean, is that really, because, okay, our income is, I would say like average. We're not like top earners. And I was like, how are we able to save 70% and still live a pretty good life? And my husband said, because we have no debt apart from the mortgage, but like we don't have any consumer debt outside of our mortgage. And that really clicked with me. I was like, that's huge. If you can pay off your debt, all of a sudden your savings rate is going to go through the roof. I encourage you, if you do have debt and if you're struggling to get out of debt, I highly recommend Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. He's great. Not only is he super entertaining, but he has a really great system to get you out of debt. And Dave Ramsey, if you don't know who he is, he used to be in really severe debt. Like I think they even filed for bankruptcy. I mean, it was bad. And so out of that, hitting rock bottom, he developed this course. So he really knows what he's talking about. He's not judgmental. He just really wants people to get out of debt, and he has a great system for it. So I can recommend him. And he really breaks it down very simple. You guys, I knew nothing about finances, but Dave Ramsey's system really made sense for me, and I can really recommend him. And if you want to know how we achieve a savings rate of 70% as a family of 5, watch this video here where I talk about what we spend money on, what we don't spend money on, and how we're able to save money. Until next time, have a great week. Bye.